Quanto tempo?
Mi sei mancato così tanto, Brian.
Ragazzi, ma che figura di merda ho fatto?
Scusami,
Però non è che era bellissima.
Però te le cerchi,
esatto.
però te le cerchi.
Ma ha detto voglio fare
prima gli
l'orologiaio, gli ho
arrosticini,
portato un orologio.
Poi, ho capito, l'orologio gli ha portato l'Apple Watch.
Ho capito,
Almeno dagli-
quello ho trovato giù nella scala, non c'avevo
tipo.
altro. Va bene, ragazzi. Avete capito le domande che ho fatto a loro?
Sì,
Sì, ho visto.
Lasciamo perdere.
E io ero lì che alzavo comunque le mani sulla Games Week, almeno sulla Games Week.
Scusami, Francesco.
No,
Chi è stata la prima?
no. Allora,
Me ne vado, dai.
ciao Brian.
No.
Ci rivediamo dopo,
Anzi,
Fra.
facciamo così, presentateli, io rimango qua, me ne vado quando arrivano. Posso farla questa cosa?
Certo che puoi farla.
se vuoi.
Con, di nuovo, comunicazione di servizio. Allora, questo panel originariamente era pensato un po' per mettere anche un po' alla prova, diciamo, i nostri ospiti e fargli interpretare un po' qualche personaggio inedito o fargli proseguire un po' le trame e le vite dei personaggi a cui hanno prestato la voce. In realtà ci siamo accorti, dopo il panel di ieri, che il numero di domande che erano arrivate dal pubblico era veramente soverchiante e l'interesse del pubblico per le loro risposte era alto. Quindi, visto anche che c'è stata una defezione di due ospiti che purtroppo insomma hanno avuto dei problemi e che non potevano essere qua, abbiamo deciso di trasformare anche questo panel in un Q&A, dando spazio alle vostre domande e alla vostra voce. Ci è sembrato che potesse
Anche
essere
perché
più interessante, anche leggendo
erano tantissime
commenti.
ed erano
Esatto.
tantissime molto interessanti, quindi le abbiamo recuperate da lì. Non faremo salire le persone sul palco perché
Non eravamo organizzati
Esatto.
per fare questa cosa, però
le
così-
nomineremo.
Le nomineremo,
Io
assolutamente.
ne ho preparata una per Neil.
Prima di tutto però smettila con gli
Con
arrosticini.
chi l'hai fatto la prima volta nel
Smettila. No,
La prima run,
prima di
almeno.
tutto però facciamo salire sul palco Zoltar, che anche oggi ci accompagnerà.
Applauso
Master
per
d'Italia.
Zoltar, scusate, un applauso per Zoltar. Ciao Zoltar.
Dai, vediamo se riesci a mandare via tu, Brian.
Io aspetto gli ospiti, poi me ne vado questa volta, giuro. Zoltar, tu con chi la prima run? Grazie Zoltar, grazie mille.
Prego, prego.
E direi che come ieri Zoltar, tocca a te.
Ok.
Sei tu che devi fare
Il
gli
maestro
onori
di cerimonia.
casa, sì.
Vai.
Giocatrici e giocatori, Devora Wild! Neil Newborn!
My friend, my friend.
Come state, Bellows, darling? How are you? Ciao, ciao. Well done for buying us time, by the way. He bought us like 5 minutes or something. Well done.
D&D themed stand-up.
Prima di iniziare, come aveva già detto Francesco, purtroppo Jennifer e Aliona non possono essere qua con noi. Vi chiedo un gigantesco applauso perché stanno passando un momento difficile e quindi spero che il vostro amore possa arrivare anche a loro per scaldargli il cuore.
So again, we will have some questions from the audience. Are you ready?
So ready.
Okay.
They're not coming on stage this time, though.
Aww.
But
Why? I like the fact they can't even.
Something will happen? Yeah. Oh, yeah, later on. Yeah, okay. I'll start with a question from Prota Chiara. She's asking, when you are after a new character to play, on what criteria...
Wait, when you're offered? When we decide. No, we audition, man.
On what criteria do you decide whether to accept it or not? And once you accept it, how does the process of getting to know the character begin? And how do you get into the character? Like, you had Spotify playlist for Astarion, and what do you usually do?
I'll take take part of that question.
It's like 6 questions into
No,
one.
listen, the reason Neil laughed and that I would like, I chuckle at that question is because we don't get offered roles very, very occasionally. We still audition for pretty much everything. So if somebody would like to, here we go, sell yourself, right? So if somebody would like to offer us a role, that's lovely. But most of the time we are, the fact that we're in Baldur's Gate 3 and it's so successful really doesn't mean anything in terms of the fact that we still have to audition and everyone's still on a very level playing field, which in many ways I think is great. Obviously it'd be great to have offers and stuff, but actually the process of auditioning allows the team, the creative team, to see if we'd be a good fit for that character and equally for us to see if we would work well together with the team. And about getting into character, that's definitely a question for you, I think.
So like most actors, especially trained ones, you always approach the character by reading the script. So you should read the script or whatever you're given in one go, find a quiet place, and you don't make any choices, you just read it. And immediately you're going to start making impulsive ideas. But the main aim really is to allow an organic process of discovery. So you sit with a character, look at the facts of the character, and you start from there. Who is the person? What do they speak about other people? What are the situation they're in? What do other people in the script say about your character? And you start fleshing out and building an idea of who they could be. At the audition level, you're going to be given a lot of information, but not a huge amount of information. And so you can start making some very strong foundational choices. When you get the full script and you understand who they are, then you can start building on, okay, well, let's try and embody the life of the character. How do they move? How do they talk? How do they laugh? And so on and so forth. And you build and build and build and build. Some ideas don't work. Some ideas you think are great, but nobody else does. And it's a process of discovery and elimination until you finally get the sense of who the character is. I would say that in most actors that are trained, there is a moment that you unlock the character when you get it. When you make a choice that really feels good.
Does that happen always at the same time?
No. I think for me personally, it usually happens early on. Especially on a project like this, which was 4 years. We had a long time of discovery. I think after the first month, I really understood who he was. But there's no set time. It's as long as you're doing your due diligence of work, eventually it just clicks. You go, oh, I know exactly who they are now. Yeah.
And if it happens later during the process, do you get to reshoot the early part now?
No, not always. Which is why I urge anybody that wants to be an actor, you must train as much as you can to have these tools to unlock the character and get in the life of the character, because you don't want regret. I'm lucky that, touch wood, I've never regretted choices. I've definitely had more ideas, but I've always been okay with the choices I made because I worked really hard before I start shooting. Sometimes, though, you don't get enough time, and that's tricky, because then you have to really stretch yourself to try and not force an idea, but you have to work very hard to make sure that the little time you have is valuable,
Okay.
There was a little detail that kind of struck me. You said that you had to read the script like in one go. Does that make it more...
If you get the script in one go. For this, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No, it was too big. So we got bits.
We found out it's over 3 million words. I just found that out.
But did the idea of reading it like one go made things more like instinctive?
So we would get like 1,000 lines at a time, and that would be like multiple sessions. So for me, once I understood who the character was, and actually for all of us, because we talked about this, once we understood who the character was, we were discovering the story at the same time as everybody else. So the interesting thing was, as long as you knew who your character was, you just react to the situation. So I would come in, it'd be a whole new 1,000 lines, but I know the character really well. I know how he's going to react at these different possibilities. So actually, it kind of worked out right. On things like Resident Evil Village, we had the full script. I knew the story. I knew other people's stories. It was more traditional. But for something like Baldur's Gate, they were still writing it as we were filming it. from year one, they didn't have the full script available.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's too big.
So the next one is from Shippy Truk, and somehow it's linked to this one. Have you ever found yourself...
Sorry about no Italian, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah,
man.
no.
Spaniel? Nope. All right.
Have you ever found yourself on the verge of tears while dubbing your character in a particularly emotional moment?
Well, I've worked with Devora Wild for some time, so often.
I've never felt on the verge of tears.
Deborah's never made us go into tears.
I have a cold, icy heart.
Do you mean verge of tears because of the work or in the experience?
The role, yeah, of course,
the
because of
emotion.
the role.
Because of the challenge or because
No,
of...
the emotion, like.
Well, we don't play emotions, we play actions. So a bad actor plays the emotions. Very big emotions, and all this, it doesn't work. An actor plays actions. You have the experience of what happens. The result is an emotional response. Do you know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, if you really believe in the fictional circumstances of the character and you're moved to tears, yeah, that happens. But it's not something you should aim for. I always take a pen to action. So in a script, you'll have the dialogue, you have the action. I always get rid of all the action unless it's absolutely critical, because I don't know what's going to happen. They might say, you must cry in this moment. Maybe you don't want to. Maybe your character doesn't need to.
But nobody said that to us, actually. We were very
They were
free
very good.
creatively. And I agree with Neil. If that emotion comes, it comes. But yeah, I personally really hate it when it says in the script, she cries or he cries, because life doesn't work like that. You might cry in a really, you might cry in a situation that's supposed to be funny and vice versa. You might laugh in a situation that's supposed to be serious. And that's what makes us human. Personally, I have been brought to tears while playing the game. And I was a bit like, oh my God, why are people so emotional about the game? Now I know. There was a few little children that came up to me like, in the game, Arabella and Yenna, I think, were the two that really like, got me. And the first one I was like, it's fine. And then the other was like, where's my mummy? And I was like, oh no. And I could just, honestly, I had a little cry because I just was like, wow, okay, now I really see it as somebody who's playing it and experiencing it. It really got me. But during the process, I mean, especially with Lae'zel, no. I mean, there was a few moments where she kind of breaks emotionally, but she never has full-on crying, and I don't think it'd be necessarily suitable for her. She's crying inside.
Can you guys hear us? Because there's so much noise around, man.
Yeah.
You can hear us, okay. I could go louder if you would like. No, okay, cool.
We're very loud.
We're very loud. There's so much noise, man. It's
La
wild.
prossima è di Susanna Cirillo 86. If you talk to the character you've played, what would you tell them and how would they react?
Our characters.
Chill out, babe. It's all going to be okay.
And how she would react? Like ripping your head off.
You know that saying, telling somebody to chill is like the least way of making them chill, right? Calm
Just
down.
be like, another ish tick.
What about you, Neil?
What say to him?
Yeah, what would you say?
Oh, well, he already lives in my head. It's fine. We already have dialogue. It's fine. It's not. That's not a thing anymore. That's not. What would I say to him? No, he's alive in here. It's fine, you know.
Okay.
Do we need to get you some help?
Was there a moment after the release of Baldur's Gate 3 when you thought, oh my, what is happening? Maybe like hundreds of followers on your social, or someone recognized your voice?
Every day, I think, oh my, what is happening?
Okay.
Every day, especially when we're at these things, I'm like, oh my, you know, I said this yesterday, but, you know, I, in my day-to-day life, you know, change nappies, you know, because I have a child. And I sometimes laugh to myself and think, if only people could see me doing this, they'd realize I'm a very normal person. You know, I cook at home.
The way she changes nappies, so glamorous.
So glamorous.
Glamorous
I fall
nappy
down,
changing.
I change that.
You're like, you change nappies like this.
Yeah. But, like, we're just like, oh, I just feel like it's very surreal. So, yes, every time I'm like, oh, my God. You know, when people come up to you and they're like, oh, my God. They recognize you, and I'm just like, yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, oh my God is the word.
Maybe someone recognized your voice at supermarket or...
Oh, right. So,
I got recognized up a tree.
on what?
I got recognized up a tree.
Up a tree. What were you doing up a tree?
I like traveling, so I was in New Zealand. I was up a redwood forest, up a tree. And somebody went, "You're a star." I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Hi! 1 second. Wild.
Yeah.
You saying about the
No,
supermarket?
I was going to say that I went to a supermarket very early in LA, and very early, and somebody ran up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you looking for ranch?" And I was like, how does she know? How does she know? And I just turned around, she went, "I'm a huge fan." And it was just such a funny moment, and I really loved it. And yeah, so yes, we do get recognized in supermarkets and trees, apparently, also.
Is it hard for your family to get this? Like, because it's through a video game, not through like a movie, which is maybe easier for, I don't know, people of a different age to understand.
I think they just think it's I don't think they understand it quite. But yeah, my husband was with me in that particular supermarket, and he has not stopped telling that story. He's like, "Do you know when we went to LA, Deborah got recognized in a supermarket in LA?" And I'm like, "Calm down."
He's such a proud husband.
Calm down. But I think, especially for like my grandparents who are luckily, still alive, they have no comprehension. They're like, "Okay, so how do you get inside the game and then you act in the game?" It's like, no, that's not how it works.
But the box is so small.
Yeah, they're like, how does it, how is it? Is that you? And I'm like, yes, it's me. But did they put the makeup? No, they didn't. So it's very sweet. It's sweet. It's nice for them. It's lovely. Yeah.
So the next one is from, Unspace. So these people really love your voice and they just want to keep listening to it. And have you ever thought about voicing audiobooks? Like, would you be up to something like that if given the chance?
I got a lot of friends who do audiobooks. It's really hard. It is not an easy job to do. But me personally, nobody's really offered. I had like one offer to do an audiobook. I'm not sure if I'd be any good at it. I get very distracted. So I'm very playful as well. So I think I might go a bit mad. It's not really something that I'm particularly interested in doing, unless it was a particularly interesting book to me personally, I guess. But I've never really been asked. Yeah.
I'm voicing an audiobook at the moment.
Are you?
Woo!
What are you?
Can you tell us a little more about that?
I wish I'd asked prior to this conversation. I didn't know that nobody's ever asked that question. So probably not, but soon you may find out.
Okay.
Soon.
Soonish.
Okay. It's a very cool project. Likewise, like Neil, I don't usually do them because they're very, very hard work. They're very taxing. They're long, and yes, it's hard to sit still for that long amount of time. But this particular project I thought was very, very cool. So you will find out soon.
Okay, nice.
Una domanda da Inakos.
Many things hidden.
Oh, you didn't know.
Was there any like sort of contamination between
Contamination.
the character you actually portrayed? Were there things that you brought into the character and that the character brought into you, apart from the voice of a star inside your head?
Yeah, well, he's given me his giggle. That's come into this way, yeah. Oh, I'm not answering personal stuff, no. So I'm not going to tell you about that. I will tell you that I have his giggle now. He's given me that.
Show us the giggle.
It's like, you know this.
I know. I just like to hear it.
It started about 4 years ago, and it hasn't left. So now I do his giggle, yeah. It's really silly.
What about you, Deborah?
I think people do ask me if I say in my everyday life. I mean, I don't, but I should start doing that. I feel she's made me more unapologetic. She's made me even more Eastern European than I already am, So I like that, like just more, not giving a fudge, not really care, as in just being unapologetically me, and And I think that's really great. I think when I started this project, because it was a long project, I was still in that kind of actor, like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, I'm just happy to be here, making myself small, like we've all done when we've kind of, I think actors do that a lot. And now I'm happier to be more confident and take up more space and be myself. And, if somebody doesn't like that, that's okay. But, you only have one life and you need to just be who you are because everyone is amazing and unique. And I think most of us don't actually realize that. And actually what people love about you is your uniqueness. So that's kind of, it's taken 4 years for all that to kind of permeate. But Lae'zel has helped me a lot with that message, and I think it's a powerful message.
What about you into the character?
Oh, what have I given to Lae'zel? Well, her amazing humor, her voice, her lovely movement that's sometimes jerky, but also I've given her everything. I've given her everything apart from her looks.
Well, I'm a great D&D fan, as you see. I saw you play D&D with Eye Growlers for the first time, and the last session, some weeks ago, with Jeremy Crawford, my friend, and it was fantastic. What do you love most about role-playing games and D&D in general?
I like the fact that it's collaborative. It's nobody wins. You win and fail together, but you don't even fail. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a thing. So it's a human storytelling endeavor that has gone on since the beginning of sentient humans, of shared storytelling. It's a bonding experience, it's fun, and it's the right kind of drama, do you know what I mean? But also that ultimately it's collaborative, nobody wins. You do it together, the story is the story. If characters die, you just make up a new one and you carry the story on. It's a really beautiful, pure human experience. Geek forever, geek pride, geek pride.
Devora?
Yeah, I agree with all of that because it's called, it's an RPG, so it's a game, right? But ultimately, you're right, nobody wins. I mean, some people lose, but nobody...
Unless you get a really bad DM.
Okay.
Like an evil DM.
Okay.
Hi, you're all dead, I killed you all.
Yeah, no, I don't know. And we've not had that experience, luckily. Yeah. So, but for us as actors, it's just amazing to have a level of improvisation. It's just, for me, it's like a however long improv game, 2 hours or a day or however long we're playing this campaign, it's just an improv game. And I think that's wonderful.
Okay, the next one is from, the name's Helena, I don't know. If you're out adventuring in the wild,
This is a good one.
Baldur's Gate 3 character would you choose to accompany you and why?
Just one?
Yeah, just one.
Any character, or does it have to be a companion?
No,
Any
character.
Any.
Oh, we've got to think strategically here.
I was going to think Fluffy. I was going to go for Scratch or an owlbear. Go Fluffy.
Yeah, but like somebody that can help in battles.
Yeah.
Like Halsin, because he can turn into a bear. Maybe, oh.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Yes, he can, and that's all we'll say about that one. He can help in battles. Yes. I'm going to say Halsin.
Okay.
I may have killed him on my playthrough, but that doesn't mean that he's not useful.
What about you?
I think I already said it, didn't I? I mean, Fluffy.
Fluffy?
Yeah, Scratch.
Okay.
Because he's best boy. He's best boy.
La prossima è di Yogi Joe. If there, when, not if, Baldur's Gate 4 will happen, would you like to step back into your character's shoes?
Yeah, that's not really a question, is it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, go on. You go.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say it's going to be interesting to see whom is going to take on the next game. I'm more curious as to who's the right fit for the game. That's going to be an interesting one.
But you
I would
be
like a Baldur's Gate prequel. Because I think it would be cool to... We've seen these characters. It's almost like we've caught these characters in the middle of what they were doing, right? And we know about some of their life before, but just a little bit. So it'd be very cool to see what they were doing before this adventure. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool.
Baldur's Gate prequel.
Because there's a...
Is it a
So
fire
much
alarm?
noise.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
we
yeah.
need to leave? No.
No.
Okay. You worked on this character for years, 4 years, I think. The moment you came, the work was finished. How did you feel? Yoo-hoo! Or something is left behind after 4 years?
I could have done another 4 years. Yeah, I could have carried on. Yeah. So it was, I mean, we all got to know everybody so closely. And we all got to know each other really well. And all the directors, the crew at Pit Stop Productions, the devs at Larian, the writers. Everybody got to know each other so well. I think it was a very bittersweet moment of we're not going to hang out that much with everybody. And that was an unusual thing, I think. Everybody experienced like, okay, I don't get to come in week after week after week. We are going to see each other, just not in the same way. Especially because I got to know a lot of Larian because I was consultant and director and mocap actor as well. So it was an unusual goodbye. But I think all of us kind of knew that we were going to do something like this, you know, if we had the
And
opportunity.
now we see each other probably more than
Now
we
we see
saw
each
each
other
other
all
over
the
4
time.
years. Now we see each other every weekend. No, I'm
We
joking.
become like a family, really.
Yeah. We see each other more now than we did during the game. I mean, I hardly saw these guys in the game during filming, especially over the pandemic. I mean, like we had a break, and then when we came back, it was very isolated. So what happened a lot during this process was that it would be like, okay, just so you know, this is going to be your last session, and I would be like, okay, I'm ready. Okay, that was your last. Okay. Next week, my agent's like, okay, so they want you to come back. And this happened so many times. Like, so many times. That when it was my last session, they were like, this is your last session. I went, okay. And then they were like, this is your last session. I said, okay, bye, see you next week, bye. And then I never came back.
No.
Originally, we were told it was going to be like a year.
Yeah, I was told 2 years,
Yeah,
and then it was 4.5.
It was 4.5 years, yeah. Amazing.
So very cool, yeah.
Okay, so the next one is from Hafkos, and it's about, you know, the industry, like the voice acting and the motion capture industry.
Acting industry.
Yeah, and it's about AI being used more and more and more. Do you see that as threatening, you know?
No, not really. I mean, I think there needs to be legislation in place to protect actors from TV, film, TV, film, and games. I think you can't be complacent about that. I think what's going to happen is that bad players will use AI, which will stop actors that do world building, supporting character actors. They'll get hit by that. But I don't think anybody in their right minds wants a lead supporting actor to be AI. I also don't think that most game companies want to use AI for performance at all. I know a lot of games devs, big AAAs, AA's, indies. Most of them have zero interest in doing it. But obviously it's a great news article, and obviously there does need to be legislation. And it's very unhelpful when some CEOs of certain companies go, oh, AI is a feature of narrative. No, it's not. That's insane. But on top of that, it's also not very good. And it's a real pain in the ass to get right, yeah. It's far easier, I'm a director, so it's far easier to get an actor in a booth and go, okay, let's do this stuff, tell me some ideas, happy accidents you can't program. AI, all it does is takes information from all over the world and goes, well, that's what it kind of feels like to do a performance, so we'll kind of do that. It's like, well, that's just an imitation. It's not the real intangible essence of what art is. It's like when people complain about, my AI art was stolen. It's like, fuck off. It's like, you didn't make that.
It wasn't yours in the beginning.
It wasn't yours to begin with. That is an amalgamation of thousands of years of human civilization that you have regurgitated through a software program. Now, if people want to make AI art, cool, make AI art, but you're a manager of art. You're not the artist. You're a programmer, which is totally fine. But if you really want to make art, make art. Same with artists, same with dancing, same with music, all that stuff. You have to make it, otherwise you miss the whole point of art, which is the shared human conscious experience, the storytelling, the observation, the reflection from humans to humans. Listen, if AI becomes super sentient, we're kind of screwed anyway. But if it's a benign intelligence, hopefully, fingers crossed, and it wants to make AI art for AI, awesome, that makes sense. But I really think humans should never give over art to software. I just think it can help you, like doing art on a tablet, sure, but you have to make it, man. You know what I mean? So I don't know whether or not AI will replace us. I feel it probably won't, because I think people can still tell the difference. And even if it becomes very advanced, I still feel that people will know the difference. It's like CGI. There was a backlash against CGI because it just got too much. People wanted to do in-camera again. There's a reason for that, you know? So, I don't know, man. As a director, I find it incredibly boring, the idea of it. So I hope people don't, you know?
Thank you.
My 2 cents.
Yeah, that was very important. What about you, Deborah?
They agree.
Oh, I agree. I have really
I love AI.
No, I love AI. No, I agree with everything Neil says. And if anything, just to add to that, Baldur's Gate 3 has shown what real human actors, writers, directors can do. From the lead characters down to somebody that has one line. And I said this yesterday, but it's worth repeating that the game feels so real because even somebody that's like, oh my gosh, you're running away, I'm gonna catch you, or something like that, has one line, but it feels so real, and you walk around the corner, you overhear a conversation, especially when you're in the city, and it feels fully fleshed out. And I think Baldur's Gate 3 has kind of been a big fuck you to AI.
But also, on top of this, don't forget that, as Deborah said, it's full performance. It wasn't just voice. Everybody did motion capture. Everybody. Even the smallest
Every
character.
single one.
That was a choice by Larian to make it as authentic as possible. They spent so much money on that. It would have been cheaper to do voice only. They didn't want it. They wanted the full performance. So everything you see from Astarion, Lae'zel, it's us. We did that. Physically, all that kind of stuff.
Questa, sempre sul gioco, di Gianmarco Merrina, regarding the game again. What's your favorite party, and what was your favorite romance?
What's our favorite
Party.
party?
The
like
group. Yeah.
What? Who's in our party?
Yeah, in the original one. while
Easy
playing the game.
peasy. I'm an all-girls team. The boys in my team.
I could be an honorary sister.
You can. The boys in my team, by accident, maybe, I don't know what happened, but they seem to have, they seem to not be with us anymore.
Are they dead?
So it's not a matter of choice.
Some of them are dead. They might be lying around camp in their underwear. And some have been taken by Oren, and I don't think we're going to get them back. She said, if you want to get Gale back, you'll have to fight. I said, no, have him. He's yours. You have him. But I might get him back just to do the fight with Oren. Anyway, my team is Karlak, Shadowheart, and Lae'zel, and my Tav, who's also Githyanki. A favorite romance? Well, I'm romancing myself, so...
Really?
Yes!
Does that feel weird?
Okay, people ask this. Is it weird?
I call it asturbation.
It's strange how it's not weird. Do you know what? I feel a very big disconnect when I'm playing the game, to the point where Lae'zel will say lines and I'm like, I did that? Oh my God. I mean, we did so much that... so I feel very much like an outsider playing the game with Lae'zel, and I'm surprised by everything that she does and everything that all the others do. So no, it's not weird to romance yourself. If anything, it's,
It's healthy.
It's very healthy, yeah.
What about you, Neil?
I just said it, I'm masturbation.
No, the party.
Oh, okay. I'm actually streaming right now on Twitch. We've been streaming for about a year. Hey, Bowie. So I have a character called Bowie, who's a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic. So she's not the brightest person on the planet. She's got a very big heart. She's very sweet and very naive. But she's a druid, and I've also got my friend Tom DeVille, who's an amazing writer for Hannibal. Oh yeah, the Minkies, there you go. Who's an amazing writer and director. And he's got his characters, non-binary character representation. We just swap people in and out. But the main rule is Astarion must be in the party at all times. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, that's our party. You can catch us on
The
Twitch.
fourth one. Do you just swap
We
them
swap
in and out?
depending. So we had like Lazellin or Galen or whatever the thing is. Yeah.
You brought your character to life with voice acting, but we also meticulously crafted the movements through mocap. Can you tell us about physical effort involved in that process? And do you maintain a dedicated training regimen? Do you train yourself for mocap?
Oh, I train so hard.
Okay.
No, I don't. Yes, no, I do not train. I was pregnant for 9 months of this process. So my training was just going home and just passing out. And I had to have a little chair in the booth because at the end I'd do a couple of lines and I'd be like, while they're just conferring, the directors, I'd be like, guys, I'm just gonna sit down. So you do you. In fact, there was a funny moment where the cord came out of my pack. And I was quite big by then, and I just went, and they just saw me, they couldn't hear me, and they all went through the glass, and I was like, why are they freaking out? My cord just came out, and they came in, they're like, are you okay? Is the baby coming? I'm like, no, it's all good.
Yeah,
just
you
my
have to
cord came
understand,
out.
Dev was incredibly pregnant.
I was very,
Like, this is the definition of warrior queen.
they were worried for me.
Yeah, that was amazing.
But yeah, to cut a long story short, I didn't know. I don't think you really, I mean, you're more of an expert than I am on motion capture, but I don't think you need to train. It's very much like normal, regular acting. You're just using your body as you normally would in a scene, you know.
I think that's the point, though. I think actors, yes, absolutely, but I think actors need to be in their bodies to begin with. So I think
Yes.
that's the thing. Like,
But that doesn't necessarily mean like lifting
no,
weights, doing
at all.
that, right?
No. I mean, that's the point about acting. It's why we always say it's not voice acting. It's voice work, but you're an actor. You have to do everything. Because if you get a gig where you need to do mocap and voice together, full performance, and you don't know how to relate to your body, you don't need a supercut body. Size doesn't matter. You can have a plus-size body. You can have a normal body. You can be cut. It doesn't matter. And actually, I would urge people to always go for a useful, healthy body. Don't worry about vanity. Don't worry about trying to match some bullshit influence kind of like cut look. It doesn't matter. That's for selling items in clothing and cars and stuff, right? Reality is, have a healthy, useful body that you're going to carry with you till you die. Try and be useful. For the actor, you just need to be in your body. You need to understand how your connection is. And it's useful for people anyway. But in terms of actual training, it depends on the work you're doing. So our work, no, you don't need to physically train, gym, all the stuff to do what we do. The stuff that I do, which is creature work, combat, stunts, absolutely you need to train for protection more than anything else. If you take a hit on the floor, you need to know how the body can deal with that, you know? So I train very hard because I do a lot of work that I would get very injured very badly if I didn't train. So it's a little different.
Last one about the future.
Sorry, just one more note. Just to add on that, there was a lot of actors, by the way, that were plus-sized, that didn't play plus-sized characters. There was never an issue. So if you have an actor who's worried about the size of their body, don't worry about it. I mean, in mocap and in performance capture, it doesn't matter. They can change your body to a certain amount. There are some people that it's easier just to have the same physical types of body. Body type can be a thing, but by and large for cinematics, it's not that much of a deal. So yeah, just in case. Height is a problem. Height is definitely a problem, but not body type, no.